Okay, B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh V'Natziach. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We're going to continue in the Olam Sefer Olam Hamidot, Olam HaKas. I don't know. I have down here Shiur number 22, but whatever number we're up to. Now, we were discussing different manners that a person needs to watch out and guard himself and be patient towards other people. Now, not only a person should be patient with other people, a person needs to be patient with himself as well, right? He has to be patient with his own situations, whatever thing he's in, and he has to understand that a person does not become perfect overnight. It goes step by step. It's a slow process that one could change himself. Many people, let's say for example, they start learning Torah and they expect that after a short time they're going to see a huge difference in the techniques of Torah learning or in different understandings, in the level of understandings. And when they don't see a big difference, they just give up. And they let go. And then after a while, they decide, you know what, I'm going to give it another try. And they try, and again they don't succeed. So, and they give up. The key is that he has to understand life is like a marathon, right? With a marathon, you need to work hard, and you need to be diligent. You need to have patience. You go at it, and you go at it until you're able to beat it. It's impossible that a person works hard, right, to the best of his abilities, and he doesn't go up and up and up and up. It's impossible. Our Chachamim teach us in Gemara Masechet Megillah, Im yomar lecha adam yagati velo matzati al ta'ameh. If a person tells you, listen, I worked very hard and I didn't succeed, don't believe it. If a person said, I didn't work very hard and I succeeded, don't believe him either. If he said, Yagati umatzati ta'amin, if he says, I worked hard and I succeeded, that you should believe. You could trust him then. There is a famous, I'm sure all of you heard this. This is a Avot de Rabbi Natan. As you know, Pirkei Avot has 5 chapters plus 1, 6 chapters. Because, why do I say plus 1? Because the 6th one is not really part of it. It's added on. Okay. There's Avot de Rabbi Natan, that's I think like 50 some chapters. Okay, that's the Pirkei Avot of Rabbi Natan, one of the Chachamim. So in the 6th chapter over there is a famous story of how did Rabbi Akiva become Rabbi Akiva, right? As we know, he was a shepherd. He didn't know Torah, really. And it says he was 40 years old, and he didn't know how to learn Torah. And, he got married to Rachel, his wife, and she saw that he had great midot, he had a great potential, and she married him. But he still wasn't learned. He said one day he was passing by a well of water, and he was looking, and he saw that there is a rock there, and there is a hole in it. So he asked people, who did this? What happened? How did this happen? And they told him, what do you mean? The water that's dripping on this day after day, that's what did it. Rabbi Akiva, don't you know the pasuk? It says, Avanim shachaku mayim. Right? The water, right, rubs against the rock. So Rabbi Akiva, look at the chacham that he was. He said, look at this. Something soft could carve out something hard. Torah, which is like metal, like iron, so much more so that it could carve out in my brain. My brain is made out of flesh and blood. That's all it is. So for sure it's gonna melt my heart and my brain, and it's gonna seep in. That's what he said. And he went back to learn. He didn't give up. He went back to learn. It says over there, he took his son. He already had a son. He took his son. So he went to the teacher. He says, teach me Torah. Rabbi Akiva held one end of the board, his son held the other end of the board, and they would write on it, Aleph, Bet, and Rabbi Akiva went at it, went on and on and on. He knew Kol HaTorah Kula. He is the Moshe Rabbeinu of Torah Sheba'al Peh. That's Rabbi Akiva. He says, what's the explanation? How did he move from one thing to another? He saw the drip, drip, drip of the water. He says, and he saw if a person is diligent, doesn't give up, he allows the Torah to drip into him, that's how he will see success in what he does, in the Torah. And that's what Rabbi Akiva did. He was 40 years old when he started, and he didn't give up. Look where he got to. Right? And this is how it is in every type of success in anything spiritual. Meaning a person needs to have patience. Don't give up. Don't get upset. Getting upset and giving up, not good. A person has to have patience, right? And he has to know that you will fall, right? And you will have hard times. But he keeps going, doesn't give up, for sure he will succeed. So again, many times a person gets upset at himself. He says, oh man, why can't I understand this? Why can't I get this? What's going on with me? Why can't I change? Why can't I make myself better? It doesn't help. You need to have patience with yourself as well. Right? And then with patience and with being diligent and working hard again and again and again, even after failures, that's how we'll do it. Now, we have to move to another segment of a result of anger, and that is machloket. Right? Machloket means strife, fights. Right? And we have to understand that a person needs to move himself away from machloket. The last Mishnah in all of the 6 orders of Mishnayot is Masechet Okatzin. And it says over there, Lo matzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu keli machazik beracha leiseh. Hashem did not find a vessel that could hold beracha for Am Yisrael except for shalom. That means shalom, peace, is that vessel that could hold the beracha in it for Am Yisrael. How do we know this? Famous pasuk. Hashem oz la'amo yiten. Hashem gives strength to his nation. Hashem yivarech et amo b'shalom. Hashem blesses his nation with shalom. Shalom, that's the beracha that Hashem gives us. Hashem wants us to have shalom. Our Chachamim chose to finish a few of the Masechtot in the Talmud with this saying of Rabbi Elazar, Amar Rabbi Chanina. What does he say? He said, Talmidei Chachamim marim shalom ba'olam. The Talmidei Chachamim increase shalom and peace in the world. They bring peace into the world. How do we know this? Hashem oz la'amo yiteh. Hashem gives the Torah to his nation. Oz, strength, is Torah. Right? Hashem yivarech et amo b'shalom. Hashem blesses his nation with shalom. That's what that's the beracha. Besides that, how do we end off our tefillah? How do we end off our Hamidot? The last beracha is Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Baruch Atah Hashem HaMevarech et Amo Yisrael b'Shalom. Blesses Hashem that blesses his nation Israel with shalom. Rambam says shalom. Shalom is the greatest thing, that the whole Torah is given in order to create shalom in the world. How do we know this? Rambam. Rambam says this at the end of Halachot of Chanukah. At the end of Halachot of Chanukah, Rambam says that the greatest purpose of the Torah is, right, for shalom. The ways of the Torah are pleasant. All of its paths are shalom, are peace. What do we see from here? We see how important shalom is. And from here you learn the opposite of shalom. A person that's always looking for a fight, looking to start a fight, looking to create machloket and a strife. That's exactly the opposite of that. It says in the Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin that when the whole story of Korach was that he started off going against Moshe Rabbeinu. It says, Vayakom Moshe got up. Moshe was the king. Moshe got up, Vayelech el Datan va'aviram. He went to Datan va'aviram. Right? So Rish Lakish says, from here you learn, you don't hold on to a machloket. You don't hold on to a fight. There is a fight, don't hold on to it. Let it go. It says that Rav says whoever holds on to a machloket, whoever loves to create a fight, this person is over, he's transgressing a negative command of the Torah. The Torah says, "Velo yihye ke Korach v'cha'adato." There should not be like Korach and his people. What do we learn from here? We learn from here that one should not hold on to a fight. And the Gemara says more, like, it says Chas v'Shalom that this person could get sick, could get sarat, and they learn from different things. Gemara in Masechet Chulin says that the world stands in the zechut of a person who holds himself back at the time of a fight. Two people are fighting. One says, "You're this," the other one says, "You're this," and then he says, "You know what? Forget it." He stops himself. Bolem piv, right? He puts a break, right? On that, the whole world stands in the zechut of this person. How do we know this? Pasuk says, "Tole aretz al belima." That HaKadosh Baruch Hu hangs the whole earth on belima. Belima, and the Gemara gives a few different explanations. One explanation over there is bolem piv, that this person stops himself, stops his mouth. He's able to control himself and goes quiet and doesn't say anything. That's why we need to be extra careful, right? To guard ourselves from machloket. And one of the biggest shaloms is shalom between a husband and a wife. That's one of the biggest shaloms. Our Chachamim said, Gadol shalom sheben ish leishto. Great is the shalom between a husband and a wife, because the Torah says the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which was written with kedusha, with sanctity, shall be erased into the water just in order to bring shalom and peace between a husband and a wife. He says HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to show us, right, that he will give up his own honor and he would allow his name to be erased just that there should be peace. So too, more so, we have to be mochel on our kavod. We have to give up on our honor, right, in order to bring shalom. Our Chachamim said, when a husband and a wife have the zechut to have shalom, the Shekhinah is between them. But if not, there is a fire that goes and consumes them. Fire is a fire of gas, fire of anger. If there is anger flaring, that's not a good sign. It says in Masechet Berachot, when a person would get married in Eretz Israel, they would say, Matzah or Motzeh, right? What does that mean? Matzah or Motzeh. There is a pasuk Shlomo HaMelech says in Sefer Mishlei, Matzah isha matzah tov, vayafek ratzon ma'Hashem. One who found a woman, he found good, right? And he has won the favor of Hashem, right? That's the yafek ratzon ma'Hashem. What's Motzeh? That's a pasuk not in Mishlei, that's a pasuk in Kohelet. Kohelet is always depressing. So it says over there, Umotzeh ani mar mimavet, I find more bitter than death, et ha'isha, the woman. And then he goes on, he says, she's a trickster. She's a trap. So he says, it's more bitter than death. So in Eretz Yisrael, they would ask, are you matzah or are you motzeh? That is, now, Gaon Vilna says, really, why did one pasuk say matzah and the other one says motzeh? Matzah means past tense. Motzeh is present. It says, maybe we could explain like this. If a person has the zechut that his wife has good midot, she is a good woman, she has proper midot, then Baruch Hashem matzah, that's it, you got yourself a mitzvah, right? That with this, for sure, you're going to have a happy life. But someone who got married to a woman that is not so perfect, her midot aren't that perfect, then it's going to depend on he himself. If he has patience, if he perfects his own midot, then he'll be happy with her too, right? And his behavior, his proper midot will affect her to make her midot good. But if he is not able to have good midot, if he also behaves like her, right, then it's going to be more bitter than death. And that's why it says motzeh. Why motzeh? Present tense, right? That means the person always, at every juncture, he has to weigh and measure. What am I doing? Am I a good guy? Am I doing things right? It's motzeh. It's lashon hoveh, present tense, all the time. All the time he has to see how he's doing. He has to check himself out. It's not like, okay, done deal, everything is great. No. And that's why it's something very interesting. It says, "Umotzeh ani mar mimavet." I find more bitter than death, the woman. The order is strange. He should have said, I find the woman more bitter than death. Why does it say, I find bitter than death, the woman? The woman is like, comes after. He says, because the woman is not more bitter than death, really. It's not. It's the husband himself. Umotzeh ani, I find me, ani, mar mimavet, because of the isha, because of the woman, right? His own bad midot are what bring out that worse than death in his wife. Umotzeh ani, you know what ani is? Ani is gava. Ani is arrogance. When he has his arrogance, when he has his anger, then it's more bitter than death that comes out of his wife. Right? That's what it is. So Hashem pairs them up. That's what Hashem pairs them up. Let's see how you're going to make your midot better. How you're going to make yourself better. He says, I heard from the Gedolei Israel that there are two causes to be zocheh to good children. First, shalom bayit. Second is siyata dishmaya, help from Hashem. If a person has these two, then he has good children. He says, Rav Daniel Kalish says, where do we learn this from? We learn it from the Parashat Ki Tetzeh in Sefer Devarim. Over there it says, it's talking about a person that goes to battle, goes to war, and he finds a beautiful woman and he takes her. Right after that, what do we have? We have the parasha of a person who has two wives. He hates one and he loves one. Right after that, you have a parasha of Ben Sorer Umoreh, a child who is not a good child. Right? Rashi says, you know what? The truth is, one causes the other. Right? If he picked a woman only because she's cute and good looking, not because they're compatible, because their midot are good, that, at the end he's going to hate her. And then, once he hates her, the children are going to become Ben Sorer Umoreh. That's exactly what we're explaining over here. Because if a person only gets married for his own lust, then when that goes away, so then now he doesn't want the burden of marriage anymore. And that's going to cause him to hate her because she's the cause of all his trouble and all his things that he's going through right now. And if he hates her, then automatically there is no shalom bayit. If there is no shalom bayit, the children are going to be Ben Sorer Umoreh. He says there are two reasons for this. Because a home is supposed to be a refuge from the emptiness of the world. A home is supposed to be a place where there is calm, there is good and everything. So if the place is a place of kedusha, there is simcha in there, the children want to be there. They want to grow. They want to understand and see that the life of Torah is the truth, is a place of happiness and joy, and they won't be drawn to leave and go out into the emptiness of the world. But if chas v'chalila, the home is a place there is machloket, there is fights, there is anger, there is hatred, then they're gonna have to be somewhere else. They don't belong there. They have to be somewhere else. And unfortunately, somewhere else could chas v'shalom be not so good. That's number one. Another reason is because the children, like we learned before, in the Olam HaKavod, the children need love. They need respect. They need honor. They need to be respected. And where there is no shalom, there is no respect. Where there is no shalom, there is no respect. And what happens? When there is no shalom between the parents, who are they going to take it out on? They're going to take it out on the kids, right? The kids didn't do nothing, right? That's how it is. People that are filled with anger, right? They're not going to be able to build other people because they themselves are angry people. That's why it's so incredibly important for the two spouses to work very hard on shalom bayit. if a person actually does this and succeeds to have create shalom bayit, then they're gonna have a shefa, abundance of beracha in everything. There are people that are busy saving others, but chas v'shalom, they forget their own home, they forget their own obligation, right? They forget their own shalom bayit. And the person is judged by how they treated their spouse, right? That's why everyone needs to create that love, that respect, and to get rid of anger, right? Once we do that, there's another thing which is very, very relevant for machloket, for fights, when it comes to money. When it comes to money, people get into fights because of monetary issues. Rav Pam, Zecher Tzaddik V'Kadosh Yivrachav, he said, look at this, people are willing to spend a lot of money for a good etrog, right? But if someone owes them money, right, they're not willing to spend that money, and they start fighting with the other person. And he says Rav Pam, it's so much more worth it to spend less money on your etrog, and the money that the other guy owes you, forgive him. Let him go and don't create a fight. Spend the money you're going to spend on the etrog on shalom, not to have a fight. Okay, so we'll leave this at this point, at this juncture. We have one more little piece in anger, and that is stubbornness. So we'll try not to be stubborn for this coming week, and see what we could do with this. Being stubborn is is problematic. I know.
So is the woman the mirror of the man? Is that what it is?
I don't know mirrors. I know what he's saying, that a person, it's both. It's probably both. A man is a mirror of a woman, and a woman, they have to work it out. They have to work it out with each other, with shalom, with kavod. That's always the case. Okay, let's learn a few halachot. It says in Shulchan Aruch that it is asur to eat fish with meat or chicken, right? Even chicken. Why? Because it's a sakana. It's dangerous. Okay, whatever. It's dangerous. So that's why it is asur to have fish and meat together, right? That's why. When a person had fish, he must wipe his mouth and his hands with water, and also needs to eat something. Eating also wipes away whatever residue is there. So washing and wiping the hand and the mouth, and also eating something, and then he could have meat, right? Is one allowed to bake in the same oven at the same time fish and meat? No. Not a good idea. But if you already did, let's say they forgot, they put a pan of roast and a pan of fish in the oven, and they baked it. Are you allowed to eat it? Yes.
If you're gonna cover it?
If you're gonna cover, even lechatchila you could do it. This that we just said is b'diavad. If they did it already, you could eat. But lechatchila, if one of them even is covered, then you're allowed to put them in the oven at the same time, right? If you're making a barbecue and you want to put on one end of the barbecue a fish and the other end of the barbecue your steak, as long as they're not touching each other, you're fine. Why? Because it's in open air. In the oven is very close quarter, it's very tight, so their smells could get mixed into one another. But in a barbecue grill, it's open. As long as they're not touching each other, we're fine. Oh, that has a thing. Then that's a problem. That's the same problem as an oven. Thank you. Yeah. If the barbecue has a cover, because then it becomes like the thing, and we have the same issue, and therefore that would be a problem. And no, correct, very good. I'm going to tell you a story, and with this will end. It's an interesting story. I find it very interesting. It says this story came out a couple of years ago. It's if you remember the story that we said about the anger. You remember with the lady we said. So now this is in the same paper over there. It's called Itonai. It says this story happened in the center in Israel. So Baruch Hashem, there was a wedding, and there was a Shabbat Chatan, and they invited a lot of guests. and many people from the community were invited, and they did it in the community shul, and they hired a very good cook to make all the food. And who was in charge of the kashrut? The rav of the shul. He was in charge. He would make sure everything is kosher, everything is proper, everything is good. There's no bugs in anything. He would check everything. Everything was like taken care of to the max. So Shabbat morning, everyone was like, happy, singing, aliyot, and everything. And they were throwing candy. Everything was beautiful. And the smell of the cholent was driving everyone crazy. They were all hungry for the cholent. Okay? In the Ezrat Nashim, one of the grandmothers quietly told the lady next to her, "Oh, this time this Hamin, this cholent is going to be amazing." She says, "Why?" He said, "Oh, yeah, I did it." So what did you do? He says, I'll tell you. Yesterday, after the Friday night meal was over, we were putting everything away. I looked at the pan that we had the fish in. There was so much gravy in it. I said, it's a pity on this gravy from the fish. It should just go to waste. I took it. I tasted it. And it was so good. I said, you know what? I have a lot of experience in the kitchen. This is awesome. I'm going to pour the whole thing into the cholent. It's going to give it a great taste. And I'll tell you, you're not going to have cholent like this ever. This lady's all scared. She right away sent a message to the rabbi, and when the rabbi heard, he went pale. What are we going to do? Hey, we can't have fish and meat together. Chas v'shalom. And on the other hand, the whole shul, they were going crazy for the smell of... Well, we could say it was cooked. It was like, you're right, because if the crock pot is on the fire, it's not fine. He said, what are we gonna do, right? It's not so simple. Like, they don't know halacha. What am I gonna tell them? How are we gonna do this? He prayed to Hashem. Hashem, please put the right words in my mouth. And after tefillah, the Gabbai said, everyone, the Rasha of the Rav has to speak. He gets up there and he says, Mazel Tov, Baruchim Habayim, from me, from the whole Keilah, for the Chatan and Kala. He gives all the brachot and everything. He says good, nice Divrei Torah. And it was beautiful. Everyone loved it. He says, Ishtapach Shemo, it's the Torah of Hashem. Everyone loves Hashem, right? And he says, of course. He says, how much do you love Hashem? They say, we love him. Like, and he says, if Hashem would tell you not to eat anything today, would you listen? They said, of course. If Hashem tells, of course we're going to listen to Hashem. And they started singing, Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Anachnu Ohavim. So they started singing. After a couple of minutes of singing, he says, everyone, Hashem told us not to have meat and fish. Unfortunately, someone poured the gravy from the fish into our hamin, right? And it's not good. It's not a good thing for us to eat it. But I'll tell you what, we're not going to fast. There's plenty of salads. There's plenty of everything else. There's plenty of challah and everything. Just not the cholent. And, everyone says, for sure, no problem. And everyone was happy. After Musaf, they make kiddush, and they all ate them. Baruch Hashem. And they took the whole pot of cholent, threw in the trash. Okay.
Rabbi, if it was just the juice and not the fish itself.
The juice is from the fish. It's asur.
So it's the same.
Yeah, for sure. Don't do this. Now, the next day on Sunday, the lady that was the cook, she said, she went to the rabbi. She says, Rabbi, I need to talk to you. And he says, yeah, what's going on? He says, listen, Shamayim, they love you. They do what you want. I see it with my own eyes. He says, you wanted that the meat in the cholent should be glad kosher. 100% the best. And I bought the best meat and everything. You saw the meat that it came in. He says, before Shabbat started, I went to put the meat in. 2 hours before Shabbat, I went to put the meat in. I opened up the package. It smelled not so good. Where am I going to find the best meat possible? I couldn't. So what did I do? I got nervous. So what did I do? I went, whatever I had, not glad meat. I had, and I put it in the cholent. I'm so sorry, Mechila. I see though that Hashem listened to you. And what did he do? Someone had to pour the fish into the thing, and you had to throw everything out so that no one should eat that meat. Baruch Hashem.